Well, hello everyone and welcome. It's July 15th and I'm certainly glad to have you on board with us tonight. If you do, or if you are there and you're close to your screen and can see this QR code, the Small Business Center Network is asking that you take a picture of this QR code and then go to the place where you register. And each time you come to one of the classes that we're doing is to pre-register with the Small Business Center. That helps them get their funding, and it makes a big difference in how things go. So please register at the Small Business Centers for these classes, and we'll certainly be very appreciative. And one way you can register is just click on this QR code with your telephone and take it from there. I'm Steve Carver, talking to you from Dunn, North Carolina, and tonight we're going to be talking about the fundamental step-by-step ways to transition your business. And transitions to some means I'm going to sell it. Transitions to others means I'm going to pass it on to my children, or to others to some other way of basically giving up leadership in it. It's a real difficult thing to do, especially for small businesses. And we're going to spend some time giving you the ABCs about how to make it happen. I put this together mostly on my personal experience, having transitioned several businesses myself. Plus, I have a couple of folks that help me as virtual assistants. And also, I'm beginning to use AI a little bit now for content. It's been very amazing, and I certainly suggest that y'all do that as well. But most of this presentation tonight is based on my personal experiences. I'm Steve Carver from Dunn, North Carolina. It's my presentation number 1195. We're working on that a dozen hundred presentation history. And so glad that you're joining me on my trip through entrepreneurship and letting me join you as well. Right up front, let me tell you, I am not a lawyer and I'm not a tax accountant. And our subjects tonight will require that you visit with a lawyer and a tax accountant before you close out a transition of a business. So let me just say that up front. What I'm doing is giving you the guidelines, the basics as a coach, and look forward to working for you and with you. Always, I'm offering free advice. And the first piece of advice I can give to you is before you make a really important decision like transitioning out of your business, then I want you to get some other opinions. Don't just take one opinion to start making your moves. Get a good base of information for you to discern and end up making the best decisions that you can. We're here for you, and I want to tell you that some of the best place to get free professional advice that's confidential and free is from the small business centers located at the community college. Now, just because they're at the community college don't mean you have to be a student at the college there to visit the small business center. Matter of fact, it's the exact opposite. They're not really there for the students. They're there for people like you and me in small business to help them any way that you can, and they are so good at what they do. Now, over at James Front, the actual Small Business Center office is located in Warsaw at the West Park Center there. And Joey Wynn, who's pictured here on the screen, is the director and one of the very best that I've ever worked with. And she is so excited about getting a chance to help you grow, start, expand your business, or help you in any way that they can. She's very dedicated to the service, so I hope that you'll give her a call. 910-659-6008. Her administrative assistant is Lynn Murphy, and she'll help you as well. Lynn has her expertise primarily in the commercial kitchen business. She's an expert at it, runs a really beautiful kitchen right there at the Small Business Center. So if you have any interest in those topics, you're so lucky to have Lynn there to help you as well. I do keep a record of attendance at these sessions, and I certainly appreciate it. We have really great attendance. Many of you have been with us every night so far in this course, and I certainly appreciate it. the more classes you attend, the more chances you have to win the achievement certificates. Matter of fact, in this course, all you have to do is attend 4 of the 5 classes, and you'll qualify for an achievement certificate. Really pretty, frameable, and you can take great pride in it. You also, in this course, have a chance to become a member of the Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates. You can do that basically by pre-registering for all the classes, that is pre-registering with the Small Business Center, and sending in a list of 5 profit centers for your business, and do a mission, vision, and promise statement. Those 3 qualifiers will get you membership into the Academy, and if you're already a member, will get you a step up to associate or master's Academy membership. Okay? So good luck with that. We'll appreciate your attendance. If I have your email address, and I hope that you'll let me have that, I will send to you tomorrow study guides related to this session tonight, plus the link to a video recording that we're doing right now. So I need your email addresses to do that, but we've got 5 or 6 study guides that will go out to you. All of them are very important. All of them will be very useful for you to take advantage of that. So here we go. Let's talking about tonight's subject is getting ready to push that start button. Going through the prerequisites of being ready to do a transition, and actually tonight we're going to talk about physically how to make it happen. Now, in the first 3 classes that we've already done, if there's any questions that's on your mind, I want you to chime in and ask them. There's every question will be welcome, and we'll help everyone. So don't hesitate to ask questions, okay? And after each a little review, we'll take another chance. So in part 1, when we got started several weeks ago, we basically were focusing on why do you want to exit. Sometimes people just throw the towel in, or they feel like they're at the end of their rope, or just kind of get a sense of depression and throw the towel in, quit the business. And indeed, it was a mistake. Indeed, if they'd have taken a few steps, they might have been able to turn it around or made a lot better moves. So we talked about getting into the mindset of the transition, what you want to do. And we talked about that in transitioning out of your business, which may be selling, indeed you want to have a good idea of what the value is of your business, and learn how to determine what you need to do to kind of get started in thinking about doing it, because transitioning out of a business usually takes about 3 to 5 years just to prepare to get that done, to get ready to do it. And in class 1, we talked all about those. Now, if you weren't with us in class 1, 2, or 3, just over in the chat board, you can ask me to send you the information from those previous classes, and make sure you give me your email address, and I'll send you the information from the 3 previous classes so you can kind of catch up on your own. But getting ready is important. You want to, if you do have a transition, you want it to go really smooth, and you want it to be with as much easiness and less stress, not only for you and your family, the employees, and also your customers. If you're planning on selling, transitioning out, it's a good idea to get your personal goals in line. Know what you're after. Think about it for several months. Make a list of it. Know what you're after for yourself, what your financial goals in doing this. What's your life going to look like after you get out of business? And then maybe your life is going to look like going into another business. Maybe that's what you're excited about. So give that some thought. Just don't jump off the cliff without making some really good plans. And as you get ready, I want you to know that things happen sometimes without any rhyme or reason. And if you have a chance to sell your business or to transition out of it, sometimes the window of time is so short, is staggering. So we have to learn to look for those red flags, look for those times that we will want to Be ready for a turning point, a transitioning point. Know what they're all about. And in these lessons, we talked about those turning points with really good background. What kind of cash do you need? What kind of permissions do you need from other people? Pre-position yourself to negotiate. And there's going to be a lot of negotiating going on. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the class. If an offer comes up on the table, do you know how to analyze it and to figure out whether it's a good offer for you? We also want to talk about who are the potential buyers, who are the best potential buyers for your particular business. Maybe it's family members, maybe it's some managers of businesses that you already have hired, or managers of other businesses who want to get in business for themselves. Maybe it's your employees. So we have to do some thinking about who are the potential buyers for our business as we move along. Now, I need to remind you that as you think about selling or transitioning out of your business, the pre-thinking about it, this time I'm encouraging you to get your ducks in a row, has got to include, when it's time that you're actually getting down to the brass tacks and negotiations, there's going to be some compromises to make. If you hope to sell the business, if you hope to have a good transition out of it, one way or the other, then you don't need to have in your mind negotiation thoughts, knowing that you're going to have to give and take a little bit to find common ground with a buyer. Hopefully, we're going to be dealing with some significant money. And anyone that's getting ready to buy or spend that money on your business, they're not wanting to know all they can about it, and then they'll probably want to negotiate because certainly you want more for it than they want to pay. If we just know that up front. However, that's why we're talking about this class, to help you find common ground if you can. What are the deal breakers? What usually happens to make the deals go bad? And let me tell you, very, very few small business owners are able to transition out of their business. Everybody talks about it. Everybody wants to do it at some point in time, and you'll be a part of that number. But very, very few times are people actually able to make it happen. I happen to be a member of that fortunate few, and I'm very thankful for that. And know that just by the grace of God and good luck and finding a potential buyer that has shared my interest in the business, in my core values, and wanted to treat my customers well, I was able to find someone that wanted to buy the business, and we were able to get through the negotiating point to do a transition. But there are a lot of deal breakers that come along, and I want you to be aware of those. So in class one, we gave you a good background of what they might be. Now, it's given, and I'll tell you this right now, most of the time, if you really hope to be able to close a deal, to sell your business or transition it, it's going to be a great idea for a third party to come in and help you. Not come in and take all your money, not be a broker that's going to charge you more than you feel like you want to give up. But indeed, there's business coaches, there's consultants like myself that will be very reasonable in their pricing, either to give you information, just like I'm doing right now. Consultants who come in and help people get started selling their businesses will do a lot of talking and spend a lot of time and want you to pay them right much money for what I'm giving you free in this course. This course would be worth many thousands of dollars to anyone getting ready to sell a business if you didn't have it in hand. But taking advantage of what the Small Business Center and I are providing for you here will save you tons of money and get you into the groove so that maybe you'll have a successful sale. But every buyer that comes along is going to be a frog. All of them's going to want to buy too cheap, too fast, or don't have the resources to do it, or really just trying to stick their cotton-picking nose in your business and get free information so they can go out and gossip about you. The world is full of those frogs. And by having a third party, you have someone that will listen to and kiss the frogs and hear what they have to say without bothering you with it. And that is worth some time and money to do it. And then when the right one comes along and you kiss that one, they become the prince. the person who actually buys your business or transcends into it. But the kissing of frogs process is not a fun thing to do. I've been through it so many times and so thankful for having a third party to help me from time to time. And I have served as third party a lot of times to help folks like you when they transient out. So is there anything particular on your mind now? That's what we did in the class one. I gave you a brief history of it, and we'll send you the recording and study guides as you want it. But does any question come up in your mind now that you'd like to ask now? If so, you can just break right in and let me know, and that'll be just fine. We'll stop and talk to you about it. And we'll do this for each one of our classes as we go through them, okay? So that was class one. So what do we do in class two? Class two was spent mainly talking about how do we go about knowing what our business might be worth? What can I sell it for? What should I ask for it? How do I go about coming up with a number? I've never done it before, don't have a clue. So our class number two, doing the business appraisal. It was the basics on doing the appraisals. And what that focused on is knowing that, of course, we can put a dollar value on the assets. You knew that as well as I did. But what I want to tell you for sure is that you got to know that selling your business and coming up with a value on it is not all about how much the assets are worth. No. Matter of fact, that is important if they're significant. But what's more important is the business making money? How is it making money? Will it be able to make money when you're not there? And how much work is the new owner going to have to do, or what are the problems they're going to get into? All those factors come into play when you're putting a value on a business for a buyer. And we have to know that and think about it for a number of years. And as we start thinking about it over a period of time, we will start making changes in our business, making improvements and changes in our business to up the value of it. That's why the longer you work on it, the better the chance is you're going to come up with something that's sellable. Well, a lot of folks would say, well, heck, that's easy to do, Steve. Everybody knows that every business has got a book value, and it does. At the end of every year, the accountant is going to give you a depreciation sheet and a financial statement where you can see the book value of the business. So why do you even talk about doing this? Well, I want to tell you that the book value is very important for accountants. But the person that's buying and selling the business, the fair market value is the only thing that's really going to count big time. The fair market value is talking about what it is sell for, what buyers will pay for it. And of course, the buyer is going to come back and take the book value, which is normally a lot lower, and try to use that as a tool to justify his low offer to you. But you as a seller, you as the person that's transitioning out, you're going to want to know all about fair market value because you're going to hang your hat on that. You're going to hang your sell price on that, and it's important that you go through that. And lesson number two, we dove into that real deep. Also, we talked about the three different ways worldwide when anyone's talking about selling a business in any college course or any negotiating tool. Every broker that's going to come to you will say, well, there's three different systems that we'll use to determine the value of your business. Three common methods, and we jumped into that real strong in the class and talked about what's the difference in the asset-based method, the revenue-based method, and the market-based method. All of them make sense, all of them are important, and all of them may apply. Not. Probably only one or two of them will apply to a small business. And sometimes you'll take a piece of each method to put your plan together. So it's important that you know the three methods, what they're about, and then use what suits your needs as you're determining the value, the appraised value of your business. And the values may be found in a lot of different places. We all heard of assets, right? That's what are the things that has value. And some of these assets you can hold in your hand. They're real. You can pick them up. You can move them. You can see them. They're tangible. Tangible assets are fairly easy to number, list, and put a value on. And also there's assets that are intangible. What would some of those be? What were some of the assets in a small business that are intangible? Well, let's think about it. We went through it in lesson number 2. Goodwill with customers, long-term relationships in the community, a good reputation, a good financial reputation. Have you treated your customers well? Yeah, they're all intangible. You can't put your hands on those, but you know they're there. It's called the blue sky type assets. And then we've got the internet. Your website, it can be a huge asset for you, but it's intangible. Your database, huge asset. Customer sales histories, customers' addresses and phone numbers and email addresses, those contact databases can have huge value. So if someone is getting ready to think about selling their business, it might take you several years to create a database, to really get involved on the internet and to do things. So here's the good news. Thinking about how you're going about selling your business in a number of years will help you now, because you'll start making the changes that will increase your business as we go. A business that you're preparing to get ready to sell is going to be a better business than one that you are not going to prepare for a buyer. Make sense? So this exercise about getting ready for a transition is all about, what do I need to do now to improve my business? It's a good excuse for getting off the procrastination train and getting busy to improve your business right now. With real assets, with tangible assets, and with intangible assets, because they all have value, and sometimes the blue sky value of those intangibles are worth a lot more than the actual tangible nuts and bolts that you might be able to see. So in lesson number 2, we dived into that real strong, and I'll be glad if you didn't have that to send you those details. Any questions or comments about the appraising of your business? During that session, I used the term certified appraiser a lot. Some people say, well, I can appraise your business. I've got experience in that, or I know about this, or I know about that. I can give you the value of it. But the word certified comes into here with a different factor. A certified appraiser, first of all, has some type of certificate or license to do the work. And a certified appraisal is based on a U.S. government law in finding fair market value. And a certified appraiser knows the different steps that you need to take to present and to sign off on a certified appraisal. A certified appraisal will carry weight in a court of law, with any lawyers, with any other people coming up with values. In other words, I may say my business is worth $50 million, but a certified appraiser may come in and do their work. And they say, well, it may be worth $50 million to someone, but the fair market value is only $5 million. People have a tendency to blow values out of reality, right? Not only people that's making offers that want to sell it are real high, people that are making offers that want to buy it, low balls. What's in the middle? A certified appraisal giving you a true fair market value. That's what we're after. So in part three, we went into, okay, I'm thinking about it. I've done this prep work. What's my timing have to do with anything? What do I need to be concerned about when do I need to actually get into it? Timing is one of the most important factors about selling your business or transitioning out of it. And some people rush into it. Some people don't give themselves enough time to to make the changes in their business to make it be a smooth transition. And that's unfortunate, because rushing into it may not be a decision that you had a chance to make. Rushing into it may be because you had a heart attack, or a partner had a problem, or something bad happened. Sometimes you just don't have time to get all your ducks in a row before the hammer falls. That's why it's good that we talk about it right now. Even if you're just starting your business, it's important that you know what it's going to take when it's time to get out. Because every one of us, no matter who it is, we're going to be born one day and we're going to die one day. And our businesses are going to be born one day, and one day they're going to die. But in the middle of that, there could be a transition where they live on, and you get the great benefits of being able to transition. That's why timing matters. We want to be ready to do. The time that you put your business on the market, or the time that you have to sell it, will have a lot to do with its value, the morale that you have with your employees, and whether or not you're able to reach any of your personal long-term or short-term goals. Timing is the big thing. In life it is too. You know, none of us are guaranteed another second of life. We all know that. We've all seen loved ones or people we know kick the bucket and be out of here without any notice at a young age. Some of us know folks that have lived long past what we would call a good age, a good ripe age. Same thing happens with businesses. But as a business owner, let me encourage you to know this and to be prepared, to start thinking about it so you won't be caught off guard and make the big mistakes. So what are some of the reasons that business owners decide to sell and go out? Well, in class 2, we went through, I guess, 50 or 60 of them. We talked about a lot of them, whether it's retirement or death, or maybe having to relocate. Maybe it was a family business and there were a lot of arguments going on. Maybe you just wanted to do something different. Or maybe taxes were eating on you so badly you decided that you needed to transition out of one business or another. There can be no limit to the number of reasons someone might decide to transition out of their business. Well, when those thoughts come about, it's my job now to tell you basically how it's going to look as you go through this thing. There's 3 phases of how transition works. Three milestones that you need to be ready for. Phase number 1 is preparing, and that's what we've been talking about in class 1 and class 2, that preparation to get ready to move forward. Tonight, we're going to talk about the execution of the transfer and manage it, and actually the nuts and bolts of how to physically and timely do that stair step up to a smooth transition. And the better the plan, the smoother the transition, the better off you're going to be, and the better off the buyer is going to be, and the better off the customers are going to be. And then phase 3 is what happens after. And that's fairly important too, because you want your legacy to live on. You want the new owners, the new buyers, the new managers to have a great new business and be able to keep it going forward. You don't want to set up a deal with someone where they buy your business and you get what you wanted, and then just within a short period of time, they're gone out of business and lost their investments, or maybe didn't pay you the money that you were hoping they'd be able to. So looking down the road, not just the nose in front of your face, but how does it look down the road is very important. So 3 phases: preparation, mindset, appraisals, execution, getting into the documents and how that actually works. Talk about that tonight. And then after the transition is, after the deal is closed, what happens then and what can you do to make it smooth for the long term? Now, does that raise any questions you might have on your mind? Any questions? Speak right up right now. I'll be glad to talk about it with you and welcome what you have to say. Okay. Hey, Sarita, glad to have you with us tonight. Glad you joined us. Okay. And that is Estelle from previous years. It's good to have you back with us. Thanks for joining. Okay, tonight, let's get into the new stuff. Brand new presentation, never been heard or seen before, and so glad to share it with this great class that we have tonight. Part 4, pushing that start button, actually moving forward with the start button. What are the things that we need to be thinking about? Well, let me tell you, just because you've agreed on the price and the terms, that's significant, no doubt, but it's only the beginning. The end of the deal is not closing the deal. The end of the deal is making the whole plan work through the whole process. That's what it takes. So first of all, we're going to look at a list of step by step. I'll go through it real quickly. It's common sense mostly, but then we're going to come back and look at those fine points that'll really help you as you move forward. So step-by-step transition. The seller considers that they want to sell. And right then, you'll probably decide that I need to talk to somebody. I need a consultant to help me guide me through that. If you don't want to talk to a consultant now because of this series that Joy had us to do, you basically just need to watch the videos and go back over these 5 classes we're doing in this course, and that's going to set you up real well to get started. Save you a lot of money and get started with that. So, and then maybe after you get a good personal knowledge of what's going on, then find a third-party consultant or a broker to help you with that. Folks like me, folks at the small business centers, other professionals. When I say other professionals, they probably don't charge you a significant fee. But the folks at the small business center or the folks like me that work with the small business center will be very reasonable. So now we need to come up with a document and appraise our business. We need to have some idea in our head about what the business is worth on the list on paper. And then we also need to make a list of what our financial statement looks like with our liabilities, so that we in our own mind need to know how much money we need to make on the sale to pay off debts that we got to pay off. And that's going to take some due diligence or due process or just flat research and arithmetic. See, right now you're not on a timeline. You're not being pressured. So doing it well in advance helps you get started years in advance. So once you have all your documents ready, you know what your goals are, what you're moving towards, what you want your life to look like after you do the deal. Then maybe you'll pen out an offer to sell, and you're pretending that you've got a buyer, and they say, "Well, give me your price. Tell me what you want, Steve." And that's when you want to start listing down as if you're making an offer. And in your mind, you are making an offer. Now, this is an initial list that will be written and rewritten and rearranged 1,000 times before you close the deal. But it's imperative that you put it in writing and list it down so that who can look at it? You. So who can look at it with you? Your advisor or your mentor to get feedback. This is a document you can't do by yourself, really. Oh yeah, we can do it by ourselves, but is it worth a darn if we do it by ourselves? No. Other eyes need to look at it because you can't see what other eyes will see. You can't think what other people will think after they read it. But you need that feedback so we can start amending it and making it better or fine-tuning it, okay? So we need to get ready with the document. Okay, we've done it. We've decided, let's go for it. Let's sell this sucker. Let's transition out of it. Well, it's time to start marketing it. We need to let the people in the world know that need to know that it's for sale. And here I'm going to give you a really important point. Everyone doesn't need to know that you're selling your business or want to get out. Because if everyone knows it, you're going to be disadvantaged because people will start gossiping. If they're thinking you're getting out of business, some of your very best customers will leave you. Some of your very best employees will leave you. Some of your very best suppliers will leave you. This is stuff that you need to keep confidential and to yourself. But yeah, we need to let certain people know it. And these consultants that I've mentioned, or people at the Small Business Center and me, there are certain places that you can market your business, and they know how to do it where the whole world doesn't know who it is or where it is, but know how to make it happen. Now, this NDA, non-disclosure agreement, comes into play right now because we're going to learn to keep the whole world out of our business. And if we start sharing information with someone about our business, then what we want them to do is to promise us on the document that they're not going to reveal any information we share with them to anyone else. That's right. And in that document they sign, listen closely here, there needs to be some teeth in it. So that if they do share your information when they're not supposed to, it's going to cost their butt. In other words, they need to know, because of the verbiage in that document, you don't come after them for money. You don't give them every reason to keep their mouth shut while they're considering whether or not they're going to buy your business. This is a big deal, especially with small business. You may say, well, this is a small business, and it really doesn't matter. I'm in a small town. It's not that big a deal. It is a big deal. It is a heavy deal. Your non-disclosure agreements must be in place. They need to be legal, need to have teeth in them, need to be filed properly. Okay, once you got that agreement, then you can share information. They got to have it. They got to have it. They're not just going to take your list or your offer to sale that we talked about earlier as if everything you put in there is the truth, because it may be the truth as you see it, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the truth as they see it. And they've got every right, and they should investigate, tear it apart, do their own appraisals, feel what's going on to come up with what they're comfortable with, because the deal's not going to happen if they're not comfortable. So that's why the due diligence words come into play now, and negotiating back and forth. Once they've done all that stuff, and they too, if you're thinking about being on the buyer's side, you too probably want a third party to assist you, to help you work through the appraisals, look over the paperwork, ask the hard questions. Yeah. But if everything goes smooth and they like what they've seen so far, they hadn't really took any information to the bank or the investigators and such as that, but on the surface it looks good, then they may present you an intent to purchase document. Now we have moved now. We have moved now to where, yeah, you found a buyer, and yeah, they're interested enough to hand you an intent to purchase with probably a deposit. And indeed, things are moving, looking good. So once you have that intent to purchase document, we move into a whole new phase. That is, y'all have agreed on the basic pricing and terms. Now, you're going to see what they had to say. They're going to look at everything you've had to say, and real negotiations get started. Let me tell you, the deal's not closed until the deal is closed. All these negotiating, all these due diligence, the door is always open for one party to walk out and close it. So we have to find common ground. And this is where a third party comes into play so often. Deals that are trying to be put together by just a buyer and the seller will often fall apart on the smallest little issue. One person says something, maybe uses a choice of words that the other one didn't like. It turned them off for whatever reason, put a negative thing in their mind. Maybe they responded back with a negative, angry situation. And one thing leads to another with adults under stress, and it blows up. Somebody, well, I don't want to do business with you. I don't want you to own my business. I don't like somebody like you. That's why the third parties come into play. The third party person, the coach or the negotiator or the broker, would listen to what one person has to say and write it down. And then they'll take that proposal to the other side and present it in such a way, in just a business-like form, without the emotions and the personality or the use of words that aren't appropriate. Then you got a chance to make it work. When one-on-one tempers flare up, disappointment shows, facial expression shows, slurs shows, another person in a room says something and you have to agree or disagree with it, it's a bad negotiating situation. So I'm telling you now, that third parties will come in real handy for you. So this is the time that if someone said they're going to buy your business from you or transition it out and pay you X amount of money, it's time for them to show you proof that they've got the money. Proof that they've got the money in a bank account or in a lawyer's trust account, or they've been approved for a loan where the loaning officer at the bank or the lending institution puts it in writing that if this deal goes forward as presented on a certain date, we'll be able to fund the buyer's amount of money that he needs to give to you on the same day as closing, provided we have a couple of weeks' notice. Okay, now we're moving away from chit-chat. Now we're moving away from wishful thinking into actual documents that are proving what people are saying. And that means someone did some due diligence work investigating all the claims. Now, you said possibly in your inventory you had 3 trucks and 4 cars and $20,000 worth of inventory on the shelf, or a mailing list of 450 customers. It's time to put up or shut up now, because the buyer wants to see all that. He wants to be able to hold it in his hand, know that what he's buying is real and the truth, and they've got every right to do it. So this is where we sit in this class. You got to be upfront. You got to be upfront. Maybe you were selling the business because of something that was really bad in your mind and you just didn't want to keep doing it, and you're really embarrassed about it, or you don't want to tell the potential buyer about it. Well, you got to get over it. You got to be honest. And here's the good news. The thing that's keeping you nervous, the thing that's making you want to sell your business, there's a good chance it won't be a big deal with the buyer. Maybe they're wanting to buy your business for another reason, or they've got skills or talents or available cash to take care of this problem. It doesn't bother them. They want to buy your business because of what you're selling or who you're selling to or where you're located, or they see potential for it to bring something new into it that maybe you don't have an interest in doing. Got to be truthful, because the very minute they find out that you've been lying or misrepresenting something in your proposal to sell to them, it's like throwing cold water on the deal, and it evaporates, it goes away. So remember that Papa Steve-O told you here, even though it may look like a really bad situation to you, you still be honest about it, talking to the seller. Tell them the reasons why you're wanting to sell, because they're going to ask it. Their consultant, their broker, them themselves are going to look you straight in the eye and say, well, Sonia, why are you thinking about selling your business? What's going on with you? Give me the list of reasons you want to sell it. And be truthful. And then it's really good for them to say to you, and Sonia, tell me the reasons you think I should pay you what you're asking for this business. List it down. That much is going to be on your back. It's going to be part of the due diligence and the negotiating, so get ready for it. So you can already see there's a lot to do here to get ready to go. Now, once you move past that, then maybe it's time that you actually tell some other people. You have a good sense in your mind that this deal is going to move forward and be positive. You don't think it's going to fall apart. And once you have that sense, then it's time to go forward and do a few things. You don't really need to tell the world about the deal. You don't really need to spread it out with all your customers or the community that you're getting ready to sell. But there are some people that need to be talked to, because the potential buyer is going to want to know and meet actually face to face your important customers, to have a sense of are they going to be able to keep these customers. Am I going to be able to keep these employees? Am I going to be able to keep these vendors? And that is so important. And indeed, you thought the deal was going to go forward, but maybe if these meetings don't go well, it falls apart. And that can happen. So that's where the third party is going to come in to help condition everybody that's involved. We're not going to ask questions we don't know the answers to. We will have already met with the key customers. We will have already met with the key employees and already met with the vendors and let them know what's happening and encourage them to stay with the deal. It's going to be good for them. Now, we've talked all along with your consultant or maybe your lawyer or maybe your accountant or your bookkeeper, and before you actually pull the string and close these deals, I'm going to encourage you to talk with the professionals that's involved in your life and in your business to help see this through. One of them may have a key point that's important for you. And you don't have to pay them a little money to think about it and read your documents. But they may have an important key that will change things, and you need to hear that. Once you get all the advice that you need, you feel good about it, then let's do those final negotiations, what we call crossing all the T's and dotting the I's, and prepare the closing documents. Sometimes you can get one lawyer to do it. Sometimes both parties will have a lawyer to do it. Usually one lawyer would not want to represent both parties. However, if it's a small deal and everything is going really smooth and you don't want to run the cost up with too many lawyers, it works okay, provided you trust that lawyer. I know several that can do that. They've done it for me, and I've been very, very pleased. Now, we got a date set. The bank's got the money ready. They sent the check on over to the lawyer's trust account so that when you sit down with the buyer at the lawyer's table to close the deal, you're going to be able to walk away that afternoon with a check. You're not going to be able to walk away that minute because documents have to be filed at the courthouse to make everything legal. So after you sign the document, that didn't make it legal, as I said in previous classes. But the lawyer needs to carry it to the courthouse, record those documents, and then make sure that all the liens are in place, everything's hunky-dory, and indeed you can come back by the lawyer's office that afternoon and pick your checks up. Then it's time to make those introductions. The private introductions that you wanted to make to the buyer, to these important people to you, and it's time now you can make public announcements. Even though it's time now that you do it, you have all this stuff pre-ready, well-studied, well-prepared, and documented, so you've got what we call a marketing plan in place to move forward in the transition. So that's your step-by-step. And I'll send you a document that has those listed that you can save and use when it's time for you to do it. So let's talk about a few about the small points. Any questions at this point? And I appreciate your comments over in the chat board. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Kendall, glad to have you join us. Glad that you came on board with us tonight. Due diligence. The buyer will want to investigate everything that you have said. You don't have to prove that you got these assets. So just know that's coming. It's not that they're being overly snoopy, but also you got that non-disclosure agreement from them to protect you, okay? But know that they're going to have to investigate, just like if you're buying, I'm going to tell you that we have got to make sure they are truthful about what they're offering. And in that NDA and any other agreements and paperwork that you prepare and sign, you make sure there's teeth in them. And teeth means there's words and verbiages and text in these documents that make people do what they're supposed to do. And if they don't do it, they have to pay a price. There's a good, robust energy and teeth in legal agreements means that people usually abide by them. No teeth, nothing to lose if I don't. Work hard and think about what's it going to take to make this smooth for me, for my family, for my employees, vendors, and customers, and the new buyer. getting through this with as less stress as possible is a major accomplishment. I was able to do that. I've been able to do that 2 times. I was not able to do it one time, and it mattered the fact at the very end of the deal, the day of closing, I found out that the buyer who was offering me borrowed money was borrowing money from someone who had an awful reputation. And I just didn't feel comfortable with it. And we had to close the deal. That's right. And then I found out later on that it was probably the best move I'd ever made. In a deal I was working on that I accepted a deposit and signed an agreement to sell. The person backed out, was unable to come through with the cash at the last minute to close the deal out on a business sale and backed out of it. So that caused me a lot of damages because we had signed our agreements and I'd let some people know. And indeed, I had teeth in our agreement, and they had to pay up a considerable amount of money to cover the damages they had caused me. I was only able to collect that because of those damages. That was not a smooth deal, but the documents protected me. I had another big deal, closing and selling on a business, where the buyer went out of business real early after the deal and was unable to come through on making commitments on the debts that he owed. I thought I was well covered because my documents gave me liens on the property, but then found out my lawyer had not filed the proper papers at the courthouse, and I had no lien at all, and that cost me a bunch of money. So with that experience, I've got a pretty good plan here for you to follow these things. If you take them step by step, there's always room for a screw up, but we're covering a lot of bases here to make things go smooth for you. There's some crucial documents that need to be addressed. The purchase agreement is what the buyer is going to give to you, and they need to spell out all the details that are listed here, what they're buying, what they're offering to you, what the conditions are, any assurances that they're making to you, or representations, what is going on here, what is actually being sold, what is not being sold, what's being withheld, needs to be spelled out in the purchase agreement. The due diligence documents, and due diligence basically is doing the studies, the comprehensive studies, make sure that you've got the financial basis covered, the legal basis covered. Make sure you've handled issues that are relating to the employees. And if there's any technology involved, make sure you got that covered in your documents. You can't go back and do it later. It needs to be done up front. And these type of documents are generally going to need the assistance of a lawyer to make them work. And then there's those kind of side agreements, ancillary agreements, such as the non-compete. Are you saying to the buyer that you're not going to compete with them for a certain number of years? Are they offering you an employment or a consulting opportunity to help during the transition? And maybe you're leasing the property or leasing some equipment. These are other agreements, very important, very legal, need to be done just right with a lot of study. You look at them 10 or 15 times, and have your lawyer do it too, so there's no hereafter after the deal's done. And then that group of documents as you do it at the closing table. So you can see right now that we're talking about 15, 20 documents to close even just the smallest business deal. There'll be an actual bill of sale where the assets are listed, and the tax people are normal to see that closing document for the bill of sale. And then there's going to be some corporate resolutions. If you're selling a business that's incorporated or any assets of that business, the corporation that's making the sale has to have a resolution where the officers of the corporation document that not only are you selling it, but also the corporation is making the steps too. So this is the normal list of documents that you would go forward, and those are what we do up to the closing table. Okay. Any questions about so far? We had a busy night here, hadn't we? Okay, we've done the closing, been to the lawyer's office. Everything's looking good. We're going to get our check out that afternoon. So now what are we going after? After, we need to touch base with our advisory team and bring them up to speed. That would be your consultants, your broker, your CPA, and make sure that they have a chance to see what happens, see if they have any advice for you. They probably don't have an invoice waiting for you so you can pay them. You know, whoever bought it, maybe there was some work that you have to come through with to fulfill your obligations, like releasing DBAs, coming through with delivering database information, previous sales information, maybe making a trip to make an introduction. Whatever they are, you need to have them listed so that you can fulfill your obligations without any trouble. You want to negotiate and finalize that purchase agreement. Everything's been signed, sealed, and delivered, but you've got this in hand. You need to look at it a third time, a fourth time, to make sure everything is just right. So if you've got any questions that you need clearing up in your mind for your personal benefit, you want to do that. If you are providing financing or the buyer was providing financing to you, that includes promissory notes, the security agreements, you want to make sure that you've studied those, got good copies of them, and they've been properly filed. That filing is so important for permits and documents that they be done by a lawyer, be done at the Register of Deeds office or anywhere else that they do. If you're buying or assuming DBAs, doing business as opportunities from the one of the buyers or the sellers, then you want to make sure you file the proper paperwork with the county and with the Secretary of State in North Carolina to get all those documents in place to protect your interests and to keep someone else from taking them away from you. The employees need to know what's happening. They need to have a good understanding of where they stand with the new ownership and understand about the transition plan. This is very difficult sometimes. Some people may be left out. So you need to have compassion and you need to care and give this serious consideration. And talk with a third-party consultant before you actually make these moves, because they can give you some good information to make it more smooth for you and everyone else that's concerned. Yeah, we've talked about the business and we talked about all the legal things we need to do, but my friends, this is a personal thing. This is your business that you've worked at for years, that you fed your family from, made all your friends with your customers and your employees. So anticipate what obligations you may have after you sell. What obligations might you want to take on from training or consulting to help make this time period smooth for the new owner and for your long-term customers? Give that some thought about where you want to be. Maybe you've made some warranties or representations that you will look after the sale is done. You want to make sure you fulfill those. And there are insurance companies that offer different types of policies to help protect you in case something comes up. Indemnification type clauses is what we're talking about here. I've never had to do that, but I know in large businesses and big deals, sometimes you'll want to talk to an insurance agent or a lawyer about getting an indemnification clause. Policy. And definitely, excuse me, things are going to change now. Your tax picture is going to change. Yes, you talked to them before as you were getting ready, but you've done some negotiating and you've made some changes that maybe you didn't talk to your tax professional about it. Well, now it's time to go to them, let them know what the deal actually is, ask them to revisit the facts and tell you where you stand with your taxes. Hopefully you already knew, but if adjustments need to be made, now's the time to start doing it. You've got resources now in your personal name that maybe used to be in the business name. It might be cash, it might be assets, it might be real estate, might be whatever. At any rate, it's settling now. The dust is settling, and it's time for you to understand how you're going to integrate the proceeds from the transition or the sale into your personal financial plan for the future. Now it's your future and your future finances outside of the business. And you need to look at it from a different set of, with a different perspective, different set of eyes, different goals now maybe. But listen, congratulations. You can now enjoy your success and the transition. Not. Because we've left out an important party in all this. One that I've talked about from day one in every class that you come to, and that is the raving fan customer. The RFC. Remember we talked about them so much? The RFCs are still out there, and they loved you. They loved your business. They want to keep loving your business if they can. And it's up to you, even though you've sold it or transitioned out, to help the new owners to hold on to those customers, because now you're protecting your new buyer, your employees' futures, and your legacy. This is where the hammer falls. And this is where this class will be different than probably what other people might bring to you, because I know the value of those raving fan customers for the long haul, and we've talked about them in our previous courses. So here's the news. The sale of the business or the transition, while it looks like it's going to be kind of negatives for the customers because there's going to be so many questions and so many uncertainties and people they don't know, it's up to you as the most savvy entrepreneur you can be to turn this into a positive and not a negative. And I'm working right now. I'm 6 months into 100% what I'm talking about right now. I'm 6 months into having sold my largest business and working real hard to keep every customer we used to have and add as many as we can for the new business and the new owners. And it's working. Ownership transition is upsetting. And it presents possible problems for customers that are used to dealing with me, and now they got to deal with somebody new that they don't know. Long-term customers really matter. They don't matter to you and your personal morale and sense of responsibility, fulfilled responsibility, because they provide predictable revenue for the new owner. They are proven advocates of your company, and they'll give you valuable feedback on how you're doing. So these long-term customers got to be remembered by the new buyer. And if you don't emphasize that to them, then you're not doing all you can for your legacy. The challenges of ownership for customers are there's no fear that service is going to be disrupted. You've got to fight that. There's no fear that they're going to lose talking and doing business with a friend. They're going to be uncertain about just how stable is this new business. And you as the new owner, and as the old owner, and helping the new owner move past that is a key plus that I'm going to share with you right now. That we did it with my business, and it's working fabulously right now. It is. Because even before you sell, even before you close, there needs to be already a marketing campaign in place to promote the transition, to let them know that you are alive and well and you're interested in that customer, in that raving fan customer, and you're going to get rid of their concerns, and you're going to strengthen their confidence through your marketing campaign. We called it a generational change at Carver Equipment, and pumped out maybe as many as 8 times 6, as many as 50 to 60 emails to our customer base once a week for 6 months. They've been getting an email about our transition and the new owners, telling about Kyle and Jesse and their baby and the farm family, and they're still letting me hang around and give advice and help with customer service and part sales. That's been a major impact on the orders and cash flow that the new business has been able to enjoy. We need to reassure those customers over and over and over about a continuing commitment to quality, service, and here's that word we've been talking about. Excuse me. I'm not sure. We need to reassure our customer of a continued commitment to quality, service, and a long-lasting relationship, a continuing relationship. So when customers call in to me, like I've had maybe 3 or 4 today that called in to me talking about buying something, I've been working with them for years. As soon as I could, I moved in to tell them about our transition, our generational change, how happy I am to keep working with them, but let them know that we got a bright, new, young family farm that's owning the business, and they'll be helping with the quotations, and I just know how much they're going to enjoy them. It's that type of introduction that I can do that no one else can do. And you want to be able to do that for your new team that's taking over your business. Every opportunity has to be done by the old leadership and the new leadership to express gratitude. Very few people, especially doing business on the internet, take the time to say thank you so much. We really appreciate your business. We're going to do all we can to see you're 100% satisfied. If there was ever a time that needed to be the primary message going out to old and new customers, it's now. Just because the transition deal is done doesn't mean the work is done. It's just started to keep the business going on and on and on. Hey, let's do some videos. Let's introduce these new owners. Let's hear them voice. Let's see them. Let's and hear them say how excited they are about meeting you, an old customer, and how excited they are about making new relationships. Videos tell the story best. And through the videos and expressions and words used, you can show the old and the new customer that you're serious about your values and your standards. That's what's going to keep them on board. That's what's going to keep them on board. So next week, we're going to move from where we are at this very minute into what is the value of the legacy. The deal's done. What is the value of your legacy, and how does it help your business live on? How does it help keep those raving fan customers still in love with you? How does it help give sense of pride and value and accomplishments to you, your customers, your employees, and your vendors? Is it positive? Have you taken the steps to put a good, smooth message on it? That's what we want to do. I want to remind you, as I have each time during this course, there is a greatness in each one of you. Some of you I know quite well, and I appreciate you attending the classes 100% of the time. We got some new folks with us tonight, and some old friends are joining us too. So let me tell you that I know there's a greatness in you, and you can do incredible things, and together we can do a whole lot more. Alone we can't do but so much, but together we can do so much. So I'd say to you, God bless you. Thank you for joining us tonight. And let's indeed remember that someday we're going to want to transition out of our business, and we're going to hold on to this information so that indeed we are indeed going to be able to do a better campaign in doing that as we move forward. I'd appreciate any comments that you might have, and I certainly want to say to you, I hope that you'll save this information so that when it's time for you to have your transition, you can do it. Next week, in talking about the legacy, we are indeed going to do a lot of serious thinking about how important a business is in a small town. Because right now, as you're building your new business, you're also building your legacy today. Thinking about a legacy is not writing your obituary. No, it's about writing your legacy, about your history, about what you believe in and what you've achieved. So I'm just looking so forward to finishing that up. How about some comments? Kendall, good to have you with us tonight. And Miss Edna, what do you think about what we've been talking about?
Well, Steve, this is Sonia, and I want to tell you I appreciate all the information that you're providing each one of your classes that you present online. I like your green screen, and thank you for encouraging AI. They have a what do you call that? A GPT file here. I think I'm saying it right, but you can create your avatar now and do a lot more communication with your customers, as well as if you're selling your business online, or you can sell your actual home online with those avatars. It's so awesome. Thank you for integrating that and encouraging people to step out of their comfort zone and start trying. I love it. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. Thank you. I'm so glad that you are who you are and continue to do well. You have a legacy here.
Sonia, you're just too nice, and I appreciate the kind words. What I want you to do for me is I want you to send me a link to that website. I've heard other people talking about the AI sites you mentioned, but I'd appreciate you sending me a link so I can then start investigating it myself. And also, I want you to send me some more information on you and your particular business so I can help promote it. Okay?
I would love for you to do that. In fact, I've tried to contact you at one of your business schedules to talk about my bidding, some bidding information when I go in front of people so I can bid pretty good instead of too low.
Fantastic. And Lateef, how did you like your first webinar?
It was pretty awesome. I mean, I think you covered all the bases. I'm still here trying to finish up my notes to make sure I can read everything I put down, but I can't wait for the next one. You definitely got somebody that's going to keep coming back.
Good. Well, when I send you the study guides, it will have covered all the talking points that were on the slides, plus some extra stuff too. So you have to go ahead and start a business journal file on your computer, and because there'll be a lot of stuff coming forward during the next few months.
And what Sonia was saying with the ChatGPT, I mean, it's incredible. It's helped me a lot with school, with the business. It's awesome. And when you put a few extra dollars towards it, it's capable of a lot of things. So,
well, that's my next project. I gotta create my webinar for next week. That'll take every bit of my spare time this week. But after that, I'm gonna be visiting ChatGPT, see what it can do.
Oh, you're gonna love it. I know you are. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, it'll probably be in every one of my presentations afterwards. Okay, anyone else have a comment? Sarita, are you having a good summer so far?
Thanks, Steve. I just want to say good night.
Well, thank you so much, and good night to you. Thank you a lot. Okay, Estelle, so good to have you back with us. Well, I've been missing you, and I hope that you enjoyed the program tonight, and will continue to join us. Okay, and Kevin and Kendall, y'all as well, and Edna, thank you so much. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Steve. Thanks.
Good night. Y'all are my Tuesday night family, no doubt about it. Bye-bye. Take care.